Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to call to order the Committee on Growth and Infrastructure. Secretary, could you please call the roll?
Senator Buck. Here. Senator Hansen. Here. Senator Doñate. Here. Senator Pazina. Chair Nguyen.
Here, and please mark Senator Pazina present when she arrives. I know it's that time of session where people are running between the floors to present bills on a deadline week. With that, we are going to do our work session at the end of the meeting, but we are going to start off first with Assembly Bill 527. And I believe we have Assemblymember Brown-May to come and present. I think you have some other presenters. So I will let you guys go ahead and begin when you are ready.
Oh, thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Tracy Brown-May for the record. We are so excited that you are hearing this bill today. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. This bill is intended to improve safety for our students and driver behavior. NVACS is a committee, the Nevada Advisory Committee on Traffic Safety. Part of that membership includes a member of this body from both the Senate and the Assembly. I had the honor of serving on NVACS as the Assembly representative during the interim, and we spent a significant amount of time on vulnerable road users, road safety, infrastructure across our state. So I'm pleased to call out the really good work that's been done through NVACS and some of the measures that they brought forward. This one for us is really about our youth and students in the school districts across our state. Clark County has thousands of students utilizing buses each and every day, and there are more than 2,000 school buses in operation just in Clark County. The data shows us that there are more violations around school, more traffic violations around school buses than we could have anticipated. And so we believe that school bus stop arm cameras will help us to correct this issue in a way that really helps to work on the infrastructure that's existing. I have my co-presenter, Ms. Stevenson, who is here. She has some data to share and is going to talk us through the bill. We also have an expert online who is here, Sam Olson with Bus Patrol, for any technical questions that we may have.
Chair Nguyen, members of the committee, Sasha Stevenson for the record. We can go ahead and play the video whenever you want me to do it. Okay. I'm just going to have this playing. There's no sound or anything, but just so you guys can see. So AB 527 addresses the safety of students who take school buses to and from school each day by authorizing boards of trustees of school districts to partner with law enforcement to expand traffic enforcement on school bus arm violations. Currently, in order to enforce this violation, a law enforcement officer must be present to pull over a driver and issue a citation. This bill does not change who is authorized to issue the citation, but merely allows for the use of cameras installed on school buses to present to law enforcement a data package for review to determine whether such a violation has occurred. It is specific to the use of cameras in this instance and this instance only. It's not a new idea, bolstered by a 2018 recommendation from the National Transportation Safety Board that school districts across the country adopt some form of school bus stop arm camera enforcement program. This legislation has now passed in 29 states, large and small, red and blue. As many of you are aware, we've been conducting pilot programs for the past few months in cooperation with both the Carson City and Clark County school districts. They have produced some staggering numbers. In Carson City, we placed cameras on 4 buses and saw an average of 1 violation per bus per day. In Clark County, we placed cameras on 30 buses across the valley and have seen an average of nearly 6 illegal passings per bus per day. That's a total of 8,109 total violations in 3 months. If we extrapolate that number to the full fleet of 2,000 buses, that would equate to more than 540,000 violations in the same 3-month time frame. These numbers significantly surpass those seen in similar programs in Miami and New York City. I'm happy to quickly walk through sections of the bill, Madam Chair. If you'd prefer that I skip that, I'm happy to do that in the interest of saving time.
I think that would be fine.
To walk through sections?
No.
Oh, to skip. Okay, great. Okay, well then at the end, I'll just say the singular goal of this legislation is to make children's commutes to and from school safer by changing drivers' behaviors around school buses. Data from communities in which currently participate in this program have shown on average a 20 to 40% reduction in bad driver behavior year over year. And with that, I'll turn it back to Assemblymember Brown-May.
Thank you, Tracy Brown-May, for the record. That concludes our presentation. We're happy to stand for questions.
I think we have one from Senator Buck.
Thank you so much to the sponsor of the bill. I was wondering, who pays for the cameras?
Sasha Stevenson for the record. This bill is agnostic to the vendor, but I can speak for my client, which is Bus Patrol. There would be no cost to the school district or the state. They would enter into an agreement. The bill allows to enter into an agreement with, or requires that you enter in with law enforcement, and it allows you to enter in with a third-party vendor. Bus Patrol puts in, it's about $10,000 to outfit a bus with this technology, and the bill provides for a per bus per month fee to pay that back, and it is fully violator funded.
I know that we've heard some other bills around like red light cameras, stoplight cameras, all the cameras. Is there any percentage of the revenue that's generated from these tickets that goes back to either fixing infrastructure or buses or investment? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Thank you. Tracy Brown May for the record. That was really a big consideration because we don't want this to become punitive in funding additional infrastructure. We don't want, let's just say, school police out there identifying something as a violation that truly isn't. Our goal is really to change driver behavior. So initially, the systems that are installed will be paid for by the citations. Once they're authorized and have been approved by that independent third-party reviewer, it's supposed to be self-funding. So what happens, it goes in and works on the infrastructure. So whatever violation is, it pays back the company that is the contractor that has already taken on the cost to install the hardware into the buses, and then the system that it communicates with. And I know that Ms. Stevenson has some additional technical information relative to how the fees work.
Sure. So in the bill, it allows for the revenue violated, or
Can I get you to state your name
I'm
for the
so
record?
sorry, Sasha Stevenson for the record, Madam Chair. The bill allows for the revenue created to be spent in 3 different ways. It can be spent to reimburse law enforcement agencies that have to hire additional personnel or dedicate certain personnel to reviewing the footage and determining if there is a violation. It can be used to reimburse a third party if the school district chooses to enter into an agreement with a third party to administer and manage the installation, the maintenance, all of those kinds of things. And then the rest of it can be used to spend on anything that increases infrastructure safety around schools and for students. We didn't want to handcuff them too much, and it's really up to you all how that gets spent, but I think that was the ultimate compromise.
So I guess my question is who's the you all? Like, who gets to make that determination on where those funds are distributed and how? Is that a part of the contracting, the RFP that goes out on these? Who ultimately has the say? Is it the school district that enters into that contract?
Yes.
I see you shaking your head, but.
Yes, Tracy Brown May for the record. It would be the school district that we're giving the authority to enter into the contract to be able to do this type of surveillance and then the citation when there's a violation. It's really about school safety for us. So a school board would have to be the authority that then would determine how it gets implemented. We do have language in the bill that makes sure that every bus is covered equally, that a school board or school district would not be allowed to just pick and choose certain buses to surveil. So they would have to take this on as a full implementation for every bus in the fleet or no implementation.
Senator Doñate.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you so much for bringing this forward. I think similar to the red light traffic cameras that we had a discussion earlier this session, I mentioned my support. I would do the same thing for this potential bill. I had a question specifically. I know in that hearing, we talked about data that is captured that is not used, right, and the disposition of such data in terms of how they dispose of it. Is that something that other states have considered in terms of, for example, if I walked across the street and a bus captured me, that after a certain amount of time period, the third party would dispose of that data and no longer would be relevant, so long that it didn't capture me breaking the law and so forth. So I don't know if there's anything in terms of data privacy in part of the provision of the bill. I didn't see it, but I don't know if you could answer that question.
Sure, Sasha Stevenson for the record. Very quickly, that is determined by conversations with law enforcement agencies in each state and figuring out how long they want you to keep that data. And in other states, sometimes it's 30 days, sometimes it's to the end of any kind of legal process if there's a contestation or contesting of the violation. But I'll turn it over to Sam Olson with Bus Patrol. He can extrapolate a little bit more on what they've done in other states.
Thank you very much, Chair Nguyen, members of the committee. My name is Sam Olson. Associate Director of Government Relations for Bus Patrol. And so the data that's captured actually lies with the police department and the school district. So it would be determined within that contract of exactly what needs to be done. Now, I can only speak for Bus Patrol. We're one of numerous vendors in this space, but we don't keep that data for ourselves by any means.
Chair, may I follow up?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Just as a recommendation, I know that when I was researching this, I know that, for example, in Maine, they put in a data retention program or requirement that schools are prohibited from retaining camera data more than 30 days. In Florida, the recorded video and images must be destroyed 90 days after the final disposition of the recorded event. So I think just for you to look into this, I know that other states have language already on this, and I think I didn't see it in the bill. I might be mistaken, but I think it would be it would alleviate some concerns. So just as a recommendation.
Tracy Brown May for the record. Thank you. We're happy to consider that and include that as a suggested amendment. That's fine.
I think Senator Pazina has a question next.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I apologize, I walked in late, so you may have already answered this, but what other states have this program in place? And thank you.
Sasha Stevenson for the record. 29 other states. I know that all of the states that surround Nevada have it. I will turn it over to Mr. Olson if he has data on, if he wants to list all the other states that currently have adopted this legislation.
Thank you very much for the question, Sam Olson, for the record. I apologize, I don't have the full list in front of me, but some states that have recently adopted this legislation, such as Michigan, Colorado, and Massachusetts in the last year, I think, or I believe Oregon as well, but I can provide a list of all the states to your office.
Thank you. If you could provide that to the committee, we can make sure it gets to all the committee members for their consideration. I do have a couple more questions about, and what kind of protections do you feel that there are in place? Because I know this allows for the administrative costs. They're not specifically laid out in any of those protections to start, I guess, adding up those costs, those administrative costs or other things. Are there any things that you think are in the bill that protect like a consumer from just having endless administrative costs added to the fine?
Tracy Brown May for the record. I just want to clarify. So you're talking about when we institute this new system.
Yes.
And there's one person that drives through the same bus zone every day and they get multiple citations. Is that?
No, I'm talking about like you would get a citation for the ticket. Is there any limitations on what the administrative fees that would be associated with the ticket? Like with a traffic ticket, you could get a $100 ticket, but there might be $35 in administrative fees attached to that.
Sasha Stevenson for the record. The intent is not to change any of the current processes that would be accompanying a ticket that was issued by a peace officer, but happy to consider additional protections if that is the will of the committee.
I don't think we have any other questions, so at this time, I'll ask you guys to step back and we will begin testimony in support of Assembly Bill 527. If you are here to testify in Carson City, please come up to the table. Or if you're in Las Vegas, gonna lose your time.
Las Vegas outliers.
Go ahead and begin when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Mike Cathcart, representing the city of Henderson. We just believe this is a public safety issue, and anything that keeps children safe in our community, we're in support of. Thank you.
I don't see anyone else here in Carson City or in Las Vegas. If we can go to the phone lines, is there anyone to testify in support of Assembly Bill 527?
Chair, there are no callers in support at this time.
Next, we'll move to testimony in opposition of Assembly Bill 527. If you are here to testify in opposition of Assembly Bill 527, please come up to the table. I don't see anyone here in Carson City or in Las Vegas. If we can go to the phone lines for opposition testimony.
Chair, there are no callers in opposition at this time.
And finally, we'll move into neutral. If you are here to testify in neutral, please come up to the table. Seeing no one here in Carson City or Las Vegas, if we can go to the phone lines for neutral testimony.
Chair, there are no callers in neutral at this time.
Wonderful. And with that, I will ask no, they're waiving off any closing statements. So we will close the hearing on Assembly Bill 527 and we will move into Assembly Bill 111. I see Assemblymember Hibbets. Are you prepared to go forward? I am. Okay. So we'll open the hearing on Assembly Bill 111. I'll call Assemblymember Hibbets to the table and please begin when you're ready.
Sorry, I forgot my glasses. Thank you, Chair and committee members. For the record, I am Brian Hibbets, the elected representative for Assembly District 13. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to present AB 111, or as we refer to it, J as Law. In December of 2023, I was put into contact with a constituent that was looking for some help. Andrea Rainey was in search of assistance and thought I might be able to help her. Andrea told me that on December 9th, a crash occurred on US 95 in the area of Durango Interchange in northwest Las Vegas, which is in my district. This crash involved multiple vehicles and people. 3 of those people died as a result of their injuries. The at-fault driver, whom I will not name, Karen Foote of Senate District 14, and Andrea's 3-year-old granddaughter, Jaya Brooks of Senate District 18, which encompasses my district. The at-fault driver was driving southbound in the northbound lanes of US 95. The subsequent investigation would reveal she entered the freeway at the Kyle Canyon interchange and traveled past the Sky Canyon and Durango interchanges, almost making it to the Elkhorn overpass before causing the catastrophic crash. That is a distance of more than 2.8 miles. And this was at approximately 3:15 p.m. on a sunny, clear day. In an effort to answer your questions before you can ask them, the standard toxicology test performed by the coroner showed no presence of alcohol or drugs in the at-fault driver's system. At the request of the NHP investigator, the coroner performed an expanded toxicology test that revealed the presence of an obscure prescription drug. However, it is unknown if this particular drug contributed to the driving behavior. After Andrea explained to me the circumstances of the crash that took her granddaughter, she asked what can be done to fix this so nobody else has to go through this. After conducting research, I told her the first thing we should do is make wrong-way driving a crime. As of January 1st, 2023, NRS 484B.227, which is the wrong-way driving statute, is a civil infraction. Assembly Bill 116 of the 81st Legislative Session made a wide array of traffic offenses civil as opposed to criminal. 484B.227 was one of those. When I discuss this bill with people, they almost always say something along the lines of, well, aren't they all drunk or high? Obviously, the answer is no. Lawyers will usually say we can just charge people with reckless driving. Now ask any prosecutor how difficult it is to prove the elements of reckless driving in court. Assembly Bill 111 simply makes driving the wrong way on a divided highway a misdemeanor. Nothing more, nothing less. And if a prosecuting attorney feels that a particular case should not be treated as criminal offense, they still have the option of reverting it to a civil matter as described in AB 116 from the 21 session. Even if the wrong-way driving results in an accident, it remains a civil matter unless there is substantial bodily harm or death. I think this is one we got wrong. We hear all the time about wrong-way driving on the news. I could tell you about other cases that have happened in my district, but this law is not about those cases. It is about the ones you don't hear about. I asked Las Vegas Metro and NHP to pull some numbers on reported wrong-way drivers. Using a keyword search in the dispatch system, LVMPD found 634 reports of wrong-way drivers for calendar year 2024. This was just in the LVMPD jurisdiction and does not include reports in North Las Vegas or Henderson. NHP responded to 731 wrong-way driver calls for service in their jurisdiction in 2024. This was statewide and included 123 wrong-way crashes and 24 of those crashes resulting in 49 fatalities. So as you can see, this is not a small problem. Now you will hear that making this criminal offense again will do nothing to combat the problem. I respectfully disagree. The media exposure this issue has gotten so far has put this in the public eye and forced people to have discussions about it. If returning NRS 484B.227 to a criminal offense makes even one person more cognizant of their driving behaviors, then I think it will be worth it and Jaya's law will be a success. Happy to stand for questions.
Thank you. I think Senator, nope, I think it was answered actually in your presentation. Do we have any questions from committee members? Nope. Seeing none, I will ask you to step back and we'll begin testimony in support of Assembly Bill 111. If you are here to testify in support, please come up to the table and begin when you're ready.
Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the committee. My name is John Abel. I'm the Government Affairs Director of the Las Vegas Police Protective Association. I'm also Assemblymember Hibbett's constituent. I drive this roadway every single day. The stains of the accident still exist. I actually passed by this 2 hours before the accident happened. This bill just makes sense. I know cops support it, we support it, constituents support it, so please pass the bill. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Josh Martinez, representing the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. We're here in support of AB 111. Wrong-way driving is a problem that we see throughout the state, but particularly within our jurisdiction along the highways. When folks enter it the wrong way, it leads to the collisions that are occurring. We see it on a consistent basis more, and I know that they're trying to make some roadway improvements to put up road signs and stuff. That's just a start, and this would be part of the tool in helping correct that driving behavior. Thank you for your support.
Thank you, Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Mike Cathcart, representing the city of Henderson. The city is supportive of AB 111. Believe this is good policy and urge your support. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Ryan Beeman, representing the professional firefighters in Nevada. Thank you for the opportunity to support AB 111, a bill that enhances public safety by ensuring accountability for certain traffic violations. As firefighters, we've witnessed firsthand the devastating consequences of reckless driving and the dangers that pose individuals who disregard traffic laws. AB 111 this measure is critical for protecting emergency responders, pedestrians, and motorists alike. Every second counts in an emergency. We urge your support for AB 111.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. For the record, I'm Paul Enos. I'm the CEO of the Nevada Trucking Association, also here today in support of Assembly Bill 111. We have seen an uptick in these incidents. Our drivers notice it when they're out there on the road, and unfortunately, one of these crashes, especially with the truck, is deadly. So we appreciate the sponsor bringing this bill forward. Thank you.
Andy Donahue, Labor Employers Cooperation and Education Trust, joining support for the bill for many of the reasons you've already heard. Thank you.
Where do I push? Right there? It's a little fancy. This is a little fancy for me. Hi, senators and us committee members. My name's Ray Foote. My wife was killed in that wreck. I'm going to try to get through this. I feel very strong that this needs to be passed. I was just coming here today and there was a wrong-way driver. My wife was a special ed teacher in Washoe County for 30 years. And her life was taken like that. So I am totally in support of this, and I hope you guys are. Thank you.
My name is Andrea Rainey. I am Jan's mother. I am Jaya's grandmother. Jaya was a bright, beautiful, vibrant, smart, 3.5-year-old little girl who was so very loved. She loved her family, her friends, her puppies, Minnie Mouse gymnastics. To this day, her room stands as a time capsule of December 9th, 2023. Every birthday, every June 12th on her birthday, every holiday, every couple of weeks, when as a grandmother we should be picking out things like nail polishes, I pick out flowers to decorate our crash site. We honor Jaya by doing things for others, and most importantly, we speak on pay attention to the signs in the roads and go the wrong way as much as possible. We do everything to keep her memory alive and bring awareness to implore other people to pay attention on our roads. We are left with beautiful memories and honoring Jaya and her beautiful light. Jaya had her whole life ahead of her, and now we must live the rest of ours without her. Jaya's life Jay's innocent life was tragically taken too early. My son was injured innocently driving home, and her mother innocently lost her daughter. Ray innocently lost his wife. Together and separately, our lives were altered in so many ways. We had to learn a new normal. Jaya and Karen should be here. The dangers of wrong-way driving have proven to lead to devastation and loss of life. The consequences for the driver are minimal and often do not compare with the real consequences. The real consequences fall on the lives of the innocent, such as Jaya, Karen, Officer Pulsifer, and their families forever. There's a study that reports wrong-way crashes are often more severe than regular accidents. This is due to drivers usually traveling at high rates of speed down freeway ramps, resulting in head-on collisions. I previously we have 5 wrong-way systems in Las Vegas, and I previously viewed some of the footage from those, and I can attest that that is exactly what happened. I believe there was maybe 10. Out of those, only 2 safely pulled over, let cars pass, and turned around in a safe manner. The others were just flying down the road, trying to get to the bottom of the road, the freeway at the bottom. Stricter penalties and law for wrong-way driving can discourage this dangerous action. Committing a crime that could include jail time can serve as a strong deterrent, prompting people to think twice or, more importantly, to pay attention. Keeping Nevada's roads safer and preventing others from this pain. By making the consequences clear, Nevada can create a culture of everyone's responsibility for safer roads. In conclusion, we are here advocating for change in honor of our loved ones, Jaya Brooks and Karen Foote. Wrong-way driving poses a threat to everyone on our roads, and in implementing wrong-way driving as a misdemeanor crime, Nevada has the opportunity to significantly reduce the number of crashes, fatalities, potentially the cost to state spent on emergency services by this reckless behavior. Please take action to protect all drivers and passengers on the road. Please help other people and other families from experiencing this heartache and the pain that never goes away. A safe Nevada is a responsibility that we all can share. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Hello. My name is Jan Brooks, and I'm the father of Jaya Brooks. I'm here on behalf of my little angel Jaya and the other people affected by countless acts of reckless drivers. Every day I look forward to spending the day with my daughter, making her food, get ready for school, gymnastics, watching her grow, and just being there as a dad and being the best dad I can be. And on December 9th, 2023, that was taken from me. Along with Miss Foote, I honestly can't explain the impact or express in words how special I felt knowing I get to spend the rest of my life with this person. I can't express enough how much pain I walk around with daily that'll never go away. I'm sure most of you guys probably have kids, so as a parent, you probably understand. You never want to see things like this happen to anyone, but especially kids, the most innocent people in the world. The impact she had on me and my family is tremendous. She's literally the reason why I am who I am today, and I'm here for her because I know she would do anything for her family. So I was the one who was honestly the one who was really truly blessed to be able to be around such a beautiful person inside and out, and I'll forever spend countless nights asking why. She literally won my heart the day I met her, the day I seen her. I knew she would live her life with a purpose. Jay was the best thing that ever had happened to me at that time. I won't get another birthday, another chance to talk to her, another second with her. She was just our perfect person as a family. And I just want to thank you guys for even giving us the opportunity for the bill. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Daria Swain. I am Jaya Brooks' mom. Or as Jaya would say, I'm her mama. The memories of that fateful day replay in my head. All I knew was my family was coming home to me after work, but they never arrived. Rushing to the hospital, I was met with an unimaginable sight of my daughter's lifeless body. And I paid for a change that never came. The images, they haunt me, just as I know they haunt her dad's family too. The reminder of the pain and the headache I endure on the daily. All we have as families is just photographs and videos of our loved ones. And with the joy that she brought to those around her, it's been a long 522 days, which feels like an eternity, with a lifetime of grief still ahead. Many families suffered alongside mine in this tragic event. I implore others to join us in advocating for change so no more families have to experience the devastation of losing a loved one due to something that can be preventable of circumstances. I want to honor Jaya's life and Ray's wife, furthermore, to prevent others from feeling the what-ifs, the worries, the distress, and the torment that has caused on so many loved ones and families who lost due to senseless act or even just a traumatic event. She was supposed to outlive me. And I had to bury her. Her sisters, her big sisters, will never have the chance to see her again. She had a whole life ahead of her. And all I have is just her in my heart, and just like everyone else. She will always be my sweet girl, my honey bear. But I am always will be lost with a piece of me missing and forever damaged, as I'm trapped in a nightmare I will never wake up from. Thank you for your time.
I'm Angela Roosevelt. I am Nana. Angela, nervous. Apologize. Not good at speaking ever. I'm the grandmother of Jaya. I used to call her, also known as Junior to me. Well, I want to tell you the story. How a wrong way driver devastated my family and how we will never be the same. I apologize. I remember that day as if it was yesterday. I just got into that morning from a red-eye flight and had laid down to rest when I remember being woken up out of my sleep with my husband urgently handing me the phone, saying it was Daria. She said, Jan and Jared have been in a bad car crash. I'm still dazed, and I grab the phone, and I hear my daughter, Daria, yelling into the phone and saying, Mommy, Mommy, she's not responding. They have her clothes ripped off her. Mommy, Mommy, she's not responding. She's not responding. She's not moving. Please come. Mommy, I need you to come now. They're flying her to UMC. I don't know what's happening. I heard those words and knew those words would change my life forever. Those words continue to play in my head all the time, with me wishing that they didn't. I gasp, not knowing, not sure what I'm going to say to her, not sure what I'm going to comfort her. What am I going to do? This is the day I was on, the other side of the scenario. I wasn't the one doing the consoling to a family. My family was the one that needed the consoling. Daria goes on to say that Jaya had been out for many minutes with no response. I knew then that my granddaughter, Jaya, was never going to recover from this. I knew that she was never going to survive. I knew from being in the medical field that she had to be revived within 3 minutes because it was crucial. The brain could only survive 3 minutes without oxygen, and I knew that the scenario had taken longer than 3 minutes to get her help and to transfer her to the hospital. I knew that our family was not going to recover from this wrong-way driver car crash. I knew that when I got to the hospital and spoke to the peds ICU nurse where my beautiful granddaughter, full of life, knew that she was not going to make it no matter what they did to survive her. She had lost consciousness for too long. I knew that she was brain dead before they even diagnosed her. But what was I going to say to my daughter? What could I say to her to ease her pain? All this caused by a wrong-way driver. When I looked into Daria's eyes that day, I can only see sad and lost eyes. I hold back the tears and contemplate what to say. Still unsure what was I going to say to comfort her. Why, I asked myself, why had this happened to the most innocent, happiest, joyful child? My heart dropped because I knew at that moment Jay was not going to survive and did not survive. All this because of a wrong-way driver who ruined my family forever. And I hope that Jay's law can help others and prevent from what happened to mine. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you all for coming up here and sharing just a little piece of who she was with us, and I'm glad to see that you guys are able to take your pain and your grief and make sure that other people are safer in our community. So thank you for sharing her with us. Do we have anyone else to testify in support? Seeing no one, I don't see anyone in Las Vegas. I'll go to the phone lines right now to receive any testimony in support of Assembly Bill 111.
To testify in support on AB 111, please press star 9 on your phone to take your place in the queue.
Hi, my name is Sarah Laws. My daughter was best friends with Jaya, and we're in full support of AB 111. Thank you.
Chair, there are no more callers in support at this time.
Thank you. We will move into testimony in opposition of Assembly Bill 111. I don't see anyone here in Carson City, Las Vegas. Is there anyone on the phone lines to testify in opposition?
Chair, there are no callers in opposition at this time.
And while we're on the phone lines, is there anyone to testify in neutral?
Chair, there are no callers in neutral at this time.
And is there anyone in person to testify in neutral on Assembly Bill 111? I don't see anyone here to testify in neutral on Assembly Bill 111, so at this time I will ask the sponsor if you have any closing remarks. I don't see anything, so we will close the hearing on Assembly Bill 111, and we'll move into our next agenda item, which is our work session document. Assemblymember Hibbets, if you want to say, we're planning on work sessioning your bill here today, so and I just need to take a 1-minute recess to confer with the committee members on some of these other bills that are on for work session. We are back in the meeting, so I'll call it back to order. I'm going to, some of these, we're going to do these a little out of order. We're going to start with a work session on Assembly Bill 111. I don't think we need to have any kind of statement read by Ms. King, as we all heard it. Does anyone have any questions on this motion, or on this motion here? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to do pass Assembly Bill 111.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Senator Pacina, a second from Senator Hansen. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed say nay. The motion carries unanimously, and I will sign that floor statement to Senator Pacina. And then we will move into a consent agenda, which is, I will turn this over to Ms. King to go over those that are on the consent agenda. So everything except for 527. Okay, yeah, not that one yet. Okay.
Thank you, Chair Nguyen. For the record, Julian King, Policy Analyst with the Legislative Council Bureau. I would just like to point out that as nonpartisan staff, I cannot advocate for or against any measure that this committee will consider. I will provide just a brief overview of the bills being considered, but more information can be found on the work session documents for each bill. Each member should have a paper copy of the documents, and they can also be found on Nellis. So Assembly Bill 20 revises provisions relating to the Department of Motor Vehicles. The bill is sponsored by the Assembly Committee on Growth and Infrastructure on behalf of the DMV and was heard on May 5th. Assembly Bill 70 revises provisions related to energy. The bill is sponsored by the Assembly Committee on Growth and Infrastructure on behalf of the Nevada Association of Counties and was heard on May 5th, and there are no amendments. And I apologize, there are no amendments to AB 20 as well. The next item on the consent calendar is Assembly Bill 110, which revises provisions relating to the designation of certain highways. The bill is sponsored by Assemblymember Gallant and was heard on May 7th, and there are no amendments. Assembly Bill 439 revises provisions concerning the purchase or acquisition of certain unmanned aerial vehicles or other related equipment and services under certain circumstances. The bill is sponsored by Assemblymember Cole and was heard on May 5th. And an amendment was proposed by Assemblymember Cole to replace department with public agency or law enforcement agency in subsection 8B of section 1, and also to establish an effective date of July 1st, 2025. Assembly Bill 449 revises provisions governing public utilities. The bill is sponsored by Assemblymember Gurr and was heard on May 7th, and there are no amendments. Assembly Bill 486 makes various changes related to transportation. The bill is sponsored by the Assembly Committee on Natural Resources and was heard on April 28th. And an amendment was submitted by Paul Enos of the Nevada Trucking Association, which revises the qualifications required for the appointment as Deputy Director of NDOT. And the last item on the consent calendar is Assembly Bill 493, which revises provisions relating to the collection, disposal, and retirement of certain types of waste. The bill is sponsored by the Assembly Committee on Growth and Infrastructure on behalf of the Joint Interim Standing Committee on Infrastructure and was heard on April 28th, and there are no amendments. Thank you, Chair Nguyen.
And can I just clarify, Ms. King, which of these bills had amendments?
Julian King for the record, Assembly Bill 439 and Assembly Bill 486.
Do we have any questions about the bills that were just read off by Ms. King? I don't see any questions, so I would entertain a motion to do pass Assembly Bill 20, 110, 449, and 493.
So moved.
No, that's oh wait, I'm sorry, and Assembly Bill, that's a do pass. And Assembly Bill 70.
So moved, with the addition of 70.
I have a motion from Senator Pazina, a second from Senator Hansen. All those, any further discussion? Seeing none?
As amended on the two, right?
Yes. No, I'm going to do that second. That's the next one. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. That consent agenda passes, and so I will assign Assembly Bill 20, the floor statement, to Senator Hansen. I will assign the floor statement on Assembly Bill 20 to Senator Buck.
70?
Yes, 70. Isn't that one we did?
Yeah.
20 to Hanson and 70 to
Oh,
Buck.
20 goes to Hansen, 70 goes to Buck. How about that? Let's see. The other one we did was Assembly Bill 110. And I will assign that floor statement to any volunteers, Senator Danyate. And then I will assign the floor statement on Assembly Bill 439. I will 440. Oh yeah, 449. Sorry, you guys. There's too many to keep track of here. 449 to, I guess, myself. How about that? I will give that to myself. And then the other one we have is Assembly Bill 493. Am I getting that right, Ms. King? Yes. Okay, keeping me on track here. And I will assign that to Senator Pazina. And then finally, I will also entertain a motion to amend and do pass Assembly Bill 439 and amend and do pass Assembly Bill 486.
So moved.
So I have a motion from Senator Pazina, a second from Senator Hansen. Do we have any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously. And I will assign the floor statement on Assembly Bill 439 to Senator Hansen. And I will assign the floor statement on Assembly Bill 486 to Senator Danyate. And that brings us to the last item on our work session. It is also an add-on from today. It is Assembly Bill 527, I don't believe we need a recap of that bill. However, I would entertain a motion to amend and do pass with the proposed amendment that any photograph or recorded image obtained through the use of a school bus infraction detection system must be destroyed within 90 days after the final disposition of the recorded event. Does anyone have any questions about that proposed amendment? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to amend and do pass with that conceptual amendment that I just read.
So moved with the conceptual amendment.
I have a motion from Senator Pazina, a second from Senator Hansen. Any further questions or discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. And I will assign that floor statement to Senator Daniate. And that brings us to our last agenda item, which is public comment. If you are here to testify in public comment, please come up to the table. I see no one coming up to the table here in Carson City or in Las Vegas. So if we can go to the phone lines for anyone to testify in public comment.
Chair, the public line is open and working. However, there are no callers at this time.
Thank you, and that ends public comment. We will have another meeting. We have some other bills to potentially work sessions, so we do have a regularly scheduled meeting at 3:30 on Friday. However, I will have the next meeting at the call of the chair, which might possibly be sometime tomorrow. So I would just ask committee members to keep an eye on your emails and your phones, and I will hopefully be able to do that before 3:30 on Friday, because I know everyone wants to be here on 3:30 at Friday. But we'll do everything we can to make sure that we can get this done before these deadline days. So with that, meeting adjourned.